Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hammered Corner. Today's video is the 5th episode of my Coin Collector Chronicles, talking to well-known collectors about their coins and their time collecting. So without further ado, here is the 5th episode with Timothy Cook.
Good morning or good afternoon. I'm Timothy Cook. I live in a small reservation on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in Montana. To give you an idea of where I'm at, the nearest gas station is 20 miles away in Lame Deer, which is where I work. There's a small grocery store there. Decent grocery store is 40 miles away. A good grocery store is 60 miles away. And if you want real shopping, it's 100 miles away. So I am kind of in a remote location, and I don't get to talk coins very often. I work for the state of Montana in what is known as the welfare office. I'm married, 4 children. My wife and children are all members of the Northern Cheyenne tribe. How I got started. My grandfather worked retail all of his life, and he always kept aside those interesting coins that he got in change. And he showed them to me, and I was very fascinated by that. My dad had a small collection. Neither one is a real collector as we are, but they did have coins and appreciated them. I joined the local coins club there in Glendive, where I grew up in Montana, where some older gentlemen took me under their wing and showed me how to collect coins. One of them one day showed me his world coins, and in there was about a dozen hammered coins. And I was just smitten right away. I sold all of my American coins with a few exceptions. And since then, it was 1980, 41 years ago, it's been nothing but English hammered. So that's how I got started.
And who would you say your favourite English monarch is to collect? Or your coin? Favourite monarch?
I like the late Anglo-Saxon. I have a fair number of them. I really like Henry VI. That's a very fascinating series to collect. My favorite coin is a Henry VI coin. It was a question that was asked on one of the Facebook groups a while ago, what's your favorite coin? And I had to think about it for a while. And I started going through my collection, and then all of a sudden dawned on me, yes, this is my favorite coin. It is a quarter noble that is very special to me. It was in 1984, my mother asked me, what do you want for Christmas? And I showed her this. And lo and behold, Christmas morning, there it was. And a few months later, she passed away. So it's the last gift I ever received from my mother. So it has a scrape on the obverse, but still, it's a very special coin, my first hammered gold coin, and one that will never be sold. It will always be with me.
And what was the first ever hammered coin you received?
Henry III Long Cross. Ed had Henry III Long Crosses. He had Edward I pennies. He had some Edward III stuff, some Tudor stuff, but that long cross penny just really fascinated me with the idea with the money on the back and the whole bit. Just really got to me. So that was my first one. And I did that first year get several of those, as well as some Edward pennies and a few other things. But that was the first one.
And do you buy your coins in America, or do you find yourself having to ship them over from England?
Well, in the beginning, before the internet, that's how old I am, it was a mail order. You had to find dealers in the backs of magazines, their ads, networking, and that kind of stuff. And so, yes, in the beginning, it was mail order. You send a letter in the post office, and they would send it to the dealer, and he would get your order, and if it was still there, he'd send it back to you. Or you'd call on the phone. In those days, long distance was quite expensive. It's not as cheap as it is today. So calls were short and sweet, but that was how I got them in the beginning. And then one of the dealers put me in contact with Baldwin's back in 84, 85. And so I started there, and then CB at the time, and then Spink. Yes, those are the 3 international dealers. And then Michael Trineri and a few others came on board as far as getting coins. But in the beginning, it was mostly American. I bought from Victor England before he became C&G. So I bought from him for many, many years. So yes, that's how it started. Then the internet came along, and boom, the world was my oyster.
Have you been over to England to purchase from the shops in person?
I was able to go to the UK once. before wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to spend a little bit of time in London. Went to the CB shop, went to Spinks, and went to Baldwin's. Peter Mitchell at Baldwin's, I've been corresponding with him. It was nice to actually meet him in person, and very kind and very helpful. At Spink and May Sinclair, again, I corresponded with her, and nice to meet her. So yes, I was able to do that, but only once, and got a really nice Canute pointed helmet penny from Spink, Henry 6 half groat from Baldwin's. Didn't buy anything from CB because they didn't really have much there that time. They're getting close to the end of their run.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is your favorite memory of coin collecting? Was it the gift that your mother gave you, or is there another time that stands out to you?
The trip to the UK was very memorable, of course. Marine Archibald taking the back rooms of the British Museum was very memorable. But probably the best memory, I don't get to talk coins very often. There's not a lot of folks around here. I was surprised that Robert Fox lives as close as he does to me, roughly 500 miles away, which is close. Mm-hmm. But there was another gentleman who was walking across the United States with his partner, and he was going to be fairly close to me. And so we agreed to meet, and we met in Casper, Wyoming, of all places, about halfway between. And that was the first and really only time I've been able to sit down and actually discuss coins with somebody face to face. And so that is a memory that I cherish to this very day.
Oh, lovely. And what is the rarest coin that you either own or have previously owned?
I have sold very little, so I own most everything I've ever bought. Recently, I was able to get a half penny from a dealer, Henry 6 York annual issue half penny, one of 4 known. Oh, wow. One of only 2 in private collections. There is a small flam penny of the Confessor from Chichester. There are, as far as I know, 4 known. 1 in the British Museum, 1 in the museum in Copenhagen, and 2 in my collection. So, yes. There are, I believe, 6 known coins total from the mint of Horncastle. I believe 3 or 4 in museums, and I have a cut half penny. Not a full one, but still, it's from that mint. I recently acquired a coin of a Confessor from Newport, one of, I believe, 7 known. So I do have some that are fairly rare.
And how do you choose what coins go into your collection? Do you have a preference on sort of denomination, or do you just kind of pick what you want?
If you look at my website, you'll see it's everything from the very earliest up to the end of the Hammered Reign series. If I see a coin and it appeals to me, in some ways, no matter what the grade is. I mean, I've gotten some pretty poor grade coins off eBay, but yet there was something about that coin that just spoke to me, and so I went for it. So it's I love the entire series of Hammered. It's hard to pick anything that I like more than anything else, and if something is appealing and I like it, then yeah, I'll go for it.
So you mentioned that you don't sell your coins very often. So what coin has been in your collection the longest? Is it still the Henry 3 penny?
Yes.
You still have that penny?
Yes. About 20 years ago, I did sell, I believe, 2 coins on eBay, and I regretted it ever since. And then 2 or 3 times I've traded some coins with some dealers for some mints, Anglo-Saxon mints I didn't have. And while I was very glad to have those mints, I still miss those other coins. I just have a hard time parting with them.
So that's interesting. You said that you traded in for some coins that you didn't have that had that mint. So is that something that you collect as well? Do you base sort of your collection around different mints? So would you mind having the same penny with a different mint, for say?
Well, for the late Anglo-Saxon, I'm trying to go for as many mints as possible. Rory Naismith has a list of mints, and I've updated my website to include what he has as far as mints, late Anglo-Saxon mints. And I have, by his list, I have 72 late Anglo-Saxon mints in my collection, which there's still probably another 40 or 50 more to go to have it complete for what he has. For for what the CD catalog in North has, they have roughly 94 or 5 mints, I believe. So I have a vast majority of the mints available for late Anglo-Saxon. At this point in time, the rest are going to be extremely expensive. Like the Newport was, I've never spent so much money on a coin. It's a goal that'll take the rest of my life. So it's nice to have a goal that will fulfill your life.
Do you have many gold coins then?
Gold coins, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe 7, and 1 on the way. Not many. Again, I'm not a very wealthy man. I'm not independently wealthy. And so I have to be very careful and mindful of what I spend. Again, I have a wife and 4 children. Although if my wife found out how much I did spend, I'm done for. So I'm very careful, and gold is just expensive. Although that quarter noble back in 1984 cost my mother less than $300 at the time, probably 400 or 500 pounds at the most. I'm sure it's worth a lot more than that today. Gold has just gone through the roof price-wise. So.
And we spoke about off camera before about it's quite an interesting topic at the moment as to security and things. So you keep all of your collection into a vault, and then you've got quite a good website that gives you a sort of a spreadsheet of your collection, and you're able to see it that way, aren't you?
Right. Again, where I live, and this is true all over the world these days, there are too many desperate people who want to take things to buy whatever it is they need, whether it's drugs or whatever it is. And I don't want my collection to be an enticement for someone to come to my home and then threaten myself or my family. Their lives are worth far more than the collection. So if it's not here, then it's not an enticement. Also, I don't talk about my collection to anybody around here. No one around here knows about it except for me, my family, and the lady at the post office, because she's asked, why am I getting all these things from England? So I've told her, but then she's sworn to secrecy, and I used to work at the post office, so I know her. So yes, I don't tell anybody. So for the most part, nobody knows about the collection around here. So it's I believe, fairly safe and secure.
So do you get the same sort of satisfaction from your coins not having them in hand? Do you still get the enjoyment from them, that knowing that you don't get to see them every day?
No, I don't. I don't. But the website does come close. And again, there's always a few coins here in the house because I'm always getting a few coins, fairly regularly. So I do have those coins here to work on and research and do what I can before they go to the vault. So there's always a few here to kind of keep me occupied. But as far as the same enjoyment, no. It'd be nice if I had a cabinet here. There's about 1,200 coins in the collection right now, so it'd have to be a fairly large cabinet, I think, to be able to sit here in my office and go to a tray and pull out whatever I want to work on. Can't do that, but that's fine.
And as someone who doesn't, I've never looked into a bank vault, and I'm not sure of the expense and whether or not you can just go and see it whenever you want. Do you have to book time slots? Can you just go whenever you want, or?
Before the pandemic, I could go in when the bank was open anytime I wanted to. From 9 to 4:30, I believe I could go in any day, Monday through Friday, I wanted to. Since the pandemic, I have to call ahead of time, which is fine. Again, it's 40 miles away, so I'm not there every day anyways. It's usually when I'm on my way to Billings, I stop off in Hardin to get into the bank vault. So it's not something that's a huge problem for me. And expense-wise, for me, it's $45 a year American to have a spot in the bank vault.
Oh wow, I thought it was going to be sort of like $60 a month or something. That's pretty cheap just to have it secure, isn't it?
$45 a year.
And you got all that protection of the bank, and I'm guessing the bank will insure it just in case, the world.
No, they don't insure the contents of your bank vault.
Oh, they don't. Oh, so worst case scenario ever, they don't insure it.
No, but then it's hard to get into a bank vault.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And if they're getting into a bank vault, they have to figure out which box is mine, and so it's. I'm not too worried.
And
I'm more worried about the bank burning down to the ground and the bank vault burning up than I am about it being stolen.
So you mentioned about not telling your wife about how much coins you've spent. Are you okay saying what your most expensive coin you've ever purchased was?
It was the Newport penny from the DNW auction in December. I've never spent that much money on a coin before.
Are you okay telling us?
I forget what the hammer price was. I know, let me look up here real quick. I know I spent, I think dollar wise, a hell of a lot of money.
Is that money you'd saved up? Is that, or did you have to sell a few coins to make up that?
I saved up and I did what I could to um, let's see here. It was a little over $4,400.
Oh my God! And how much does your wife think it was?
She doesn't know about it or what I spent, and thankfully she won't.
Oh, even better. So, lastly, Tim, what advice would you give to a newbie who was thinking, "Oh, okay, I want to start collecting, but it's a bit daunting. I'm not sure where to start." What advice would you have?
Hammer coins is a bit daunting to start. There's no doubt about that. There is a learning curve there, particularly the stuff that has the mints and money. Learning how to read the coins back then, and then all the various varieties. And so, what to do? Well, for me, there are two books that I have by my side all the time. The CB catalog, the Spin catalog. I still call it CB because that's what it always has been for me. And I have all of them but one. It started publication in 1934. I don't have that one from 1936 on. I have them all.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and then the North volumes, which I think are just indispensable for myself. Others might disagree, but I think those are just you have to have both of those in order to get through the Hammer series. And then storage, store your coins properly. Coin cabinets are very popular over there. They're not very popular over here. I've never had one. I've always wanted one. I keep my coins in acid-free 2x2 envelopes and acid-free holders, cardboard holders in the bank vault. So they are, very well preserved. Document your collection. Provenance is becoming more and more important with all the various cultural heritage laws being passed all over the world, where provenance is very, very important. So it's important to have a record of what you have in your collection. So if when you do sell it, there is that chain that from you to this person. Save your coin tickets. Research the provenances of your coins. That's very important. So that if and when ever comes a time where they say, no, we got to turn them all in unless you can prove you had it before a certain date. Well, yes, I've had them before this date. It's mine. And then ask questions. I get asked questions almost on a daily basis, and I try to answer what I can. You're lucky in that you have museums over there that have the coins. I don't have that here. Go to the museums, look at the coins. Go to your local coin shops, coin fairs, coin societies. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask any question. I still ask questions. Dave, who you've interviewed, I've known through the internet for at least 20 years, I think, and I still ask him questions because I'm self-taught. Everything I know, I've learned from the books I've gotten and asking questions. The only hammered coins I've actually ever held in my hand are those in my collection outside of a few others when I was in the UK. Otherwise, I've never held any other hammered coins. So my knowledge is very limited because what I've seen is very limited. But storage, books, provenance, questions, and have fun with it. Don't make it into a chore. Have fun. Get the coins that make you happy. Get the coins that appeal to you, and enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Tim. I think having a different experience with someone across the pond, I think, has been invaluable. So thank you so much.
Well, hopefully no one's computer screens broke from my picture, and I really enjoyed this. Thank you so very much.
So there you have it, a brief window into Tim's collection and experiences whilst collecting. Huge thank you for Tim for being on the channel and for sharing his knowledge and wisdom with us all. Are you a coin collector and want to share your experiences collecting? Then please comment to arrange a future video. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video here on the Hammered Corner. For any coin tickets, accessories or behind the scenes videos, my Facebook page is in the description. Thank you all for watching, and as always, Keep collecting.